We are now ready to talk about the major decisions that we need to make regarding our processes. All these decisions are somehow related to the process flow pattern. So let us go back to our basic diagram with the line flow, flexible flow diagonal. Our first and foremost decision has to do with determining our process structure. In other words, choosing an appropriate location for our process on this diagonal. For a manufacturing process, our process choice could be a job, batch, line, or continuous process. For a service process, our process choice could be a front-end, hybrid, or back-end process. Another important process decision that we have to make has to do with resource flexibility. There are two basic resources that we need to consider: labor and equipment. Clearly, we need a greater flexibility of resources if we are closer to the flexible flow end, and less flexibility closer to the line flow end. What exactly is labor flexibility? Employees who can do yoga, perhaps? A flexible employee is one who can do different things at different times according to different process and customer needs. Such an employee is highly skilled, is provided a great extent of training in multiple skill sets, and is rewarded accordingly with a high wage rate. Take, for example, an employee you would hire to help you produce your custom-made sandwiches. This person can produce a wide variety of outputs, taking in a wide variety of ingredients, using a wide variety of tools, and even advise the customers on what a good sandwich choice would be for a particular type of occasion. On the other hand, a less flexible employee is one who has limited skill sets, can perform only a small range of tasks, and is also paid a lower wage rate. Let us say, for example, we hire an employee to work on our sandwich mass production line. This person is required to load the bread and other ingredients into the machine, hit the green button, then take the wrapped sandwiches off the other end of the line and stack them. Now let us consider the kind of equipment that your highly flexible employee is using to produce customized sandwiches. A table, cutting board, different knives, kitchen utensils, etc. All of these are likely to be general-purpose equipment that can serve a wide variety of purposes. As well, most of this equipment is likely to be of the kind that you can pick up off the shelf in many stores. On the other hand, consider the kind of equipment that the less flexible employee is using to mass-produce sandwiches. It is a complex, automated, heavy-duty kind of equipment. The employee just hits a button, and the machine takes care of everything else. This special-purpose equipment is designed for a specific purpose. It cannot do much else. You are not likely to find it available for off-the-shelf purchase. Instead, there was probably custom installation involved. As well, over the years, we are likely to have modified the equipment from its as-bought state to further configure it to our particular needs. And the price tag? Ouch! Much, much more expensive than the general-purpose equipment used for custom sandwiches. That brings us to our next big process decision: capital intensity. At the line flow end, we saw that we need less flexible people along with special purpose equipment. Less flexible people tend to be less expensive, while special purpose equipment tends to be very expensive. On the other hand, at the flexible flow end, we need flexible people along with general purpose equipment. Flexible people tend to be expensive, while general-purpose equipment tends to be relatively less expensive. Thus, we can generalize that a process at the line flow end would tend to be more capital-intensive, while a process at the flexible flow end would tend to be less capital-intensive and perhaps even labor-intensive. Another major process decision has to do with customer involvement. We can see that customer involvement is going to be much higher at the flexible flow end than at the line flow end. Take, for example, my custom sandwich. Obviously, I was involved right from the design of the sandwich itself. After the design, how involved was I in your process? Well, I'm not the kind to stick my nose in other people's business. But did I take it upon myself to tell you where you should buy your bread, cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, etc.? What are the odds I even told you how this particular kind of bread should be cut, using what kind of knife? And the tomatoes? Wash them thoroughly, but mind, don't squish them too hard. And then slice them with a fine, sharp knife. Then dab the tomato slices with a paper towel Make sure the paper towel is a lint-free variety. And when you finally bring me the sandwich, make sure it comes at the exact same time as my coffee. Now, simply recognizing that customer involvement will be high does not do us much good. We need to also design the process to be capable of handling this amount of customer involvement. I'm sorry, sir. Insurance requirements prevent us from allowing you to venture beyond this line, or employees only beyond this point. How about the mass-produced sandwich? How involved was I in the product design? Did anyone even ask me what I wanted? How involved was I in the production process? Do I even know where the facility is located? Obviously, my involvement is rather low, but does that mean I'm not involved in the process at all? When I picked up the sandwich, it came with options. I was able to pick up some mayonnaise, mustard, salt, pepper, etc. to add to my sandwich. I asked the girl at the cash register to please prepare the final sandwich, and she gaped at me like I had just landed from Mars or something. What? I'm supposed to add all that stuff myself? Wait a minute. I'm not supposed to be involved in the process, remember? Well, it so happens that the sandwich producer has designed a process wherein I am involved in some stages of the process, after all, but not in other stages. Although we expect low customer involvement as we move down the diagonal, every process can have some extent of customer involvement. This customer involvement has to be well planned for. For example, if I buy a do-it-yourself chair, I am very much expected to put a screwdriver and a hammer to good use. The manufacturer has put together the rest of the chair, but has designed in customer involvement for just that last part of the process. Now imagine, as so often happens with these things, the assembly instructions provided were less than adequate. Is that customer involvement well designed? On top of that, let's say I dial the toll-free number provided, only to find out our office hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 EST. Of course, I was stupid enough to attempt this furniture assembly on my free weekend. What was I thinking? As you can see, customer involvement in the process has to be well planned for. Firstly, we need to determine what parts of the process the customer should be involved in and what parts he or she should not be involved in. Further, all those stages that the customer is going to be involved in have to be designed with special care, including the extent, manner, timing, and location of involvement, etc. We need to ensure that the process does not get compromised because of things like customer behavior, lack of understanding of the process, lack of training, etc. All the major process decisions we just discussed need to fit together. As we have seen, all the decisions are somehow related to the line flow, flexible flow diagonal. Using the position on the diagonal as a guide, we can align our process decisions to achieve strategic fit.